Welcome to Marvelicious Toys. We bring you news and reviews of Marvel toys, statues, and more. Because not all Marvel collections can be bagged and boarded. They're not just toys, they're Marvelicious.
Now, the other warrior of the web is Spider-Woman. Now, this one has a bit of a history. This is the Spider-Woman from the Ultimate Universe, who is, in that universe, a clone of Peter Parker. So she's genetically equal to Peter Parker, but they tampered with the genes to make him a her.
And give her incredibly lustrous hair.
Yeah, here they kind of cheat on the female form because how does that even work? How would you wear that as a mask to have all that hair flowing out of the mask?
No.
There's nothing keeping that mask up.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point I never even thought of. Now, this is straight out of the comic. Nothing against Hasbro. This was the design, but it's a strange design that I never noticed. I read that comic and I never thought about. Could it be a wig that she puts on over her mask?
What's the wig going to stick to? Because you have to have something to anchor the wig.
Double-sided tape?
That would just be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and now it's getting very complicated for her to go out every day.
As compared to just putting on the spandex outfit normally.
Yes.
Well, she can wear that under her clothes. But no, visually, I think it works really well because I think they've done a really dynamic, this almost reminds me of something that, Kodo does with their Bishozo line that we talk about quite often. They got a nice wisp of hair going off to the side rather than just a long hair or a ponytail. I mean, we've seen it on Black Widow before where the hair lays on her shoulders and you can't even move her head. Well, this gives you some range of motion here yet. You can spin it all the way around and it doesn't get too much in the way. But obviously the wind is always going to be coming from one direction with this figure.
Well, and her hair is very heavy.
You're right. Her whole head makes the whole thing top heavy.
Yes. And posing her is a little hard because of that. It always wants to lean to that side.
Yeah, you almost got to give her more weight on her front foot. But what I'm digging is the use of, instead of just straight up white paint, they went with like a pearlescent white here for all of the details. It's a nice touch for being the only paint on this figure. It's otherwise sculpted in a nice, you call this maroon?
Yeah.
I don't have my Pantone chart handy. I'm sorry.
It's a 486er. Don't quote me on that. I don't have my book either. But yeah, I mean, simple is better here with this one. Like with all the other ones that we've been seeing in this wave, you have all the delicate, intricate lines and everything, but she has a nice simplicity to her. It's just the spider logo that wraps around into like almost an X or a W shape on her back. And then some highlights on the fingertips and her eyes. No,
I mean, like we talked about with the last one, there's great articulation. I do like the paint. I think the hair is a really nice thing. But yeah, the balance is the bit of an issue. But no, both of these figures, both Warriors of the Web, are really nice figures. And again, like Spider-Man 2099, niche enough that I don't know that we'll see these again in Legend scale. I'm pretty sure we've seen Mayday Parker. I know I have a Toy Biz, 5-inch figure of Mayday. I don't know if I've got a Legends, but this Ultimate Spider-Woman, this may be the only shot, especially with Secret Wars coming.
Yeah. I mean, and just think about it. With this wave and then the next wave of Avengers coming out, there's a Spider-Woman or a Spider-Girl in that wave. It's getting a lot of Spider females this year, which is pretty crazy to think about, considering I bet you in the whole line, we haven't seen this many. We're getting some nice variety in the Spider-Man line. I think we talked about it last year when we were getting Spider-Man movie figures. It's like, we know they're going to keep doing this. What could they possibly keep doing? And I think, with this wave, they've done a good job of giving us some variety and still keeping it very much Spider-Man themed, with maybe the exception of the next figure we're going to talk about.
Well, I've always thought Spider-Man and Daredevil made great partners. First of all, their modes of transportation are very similar. Spider-Man web swings and Daredevil uses his billy clubs and kind of swings around. They're both kind of ninja-like in their super agility. They're both wear red. They hung out a lot, and Daredevil was one of the first people to figure out Spider-Man's true identity back in, again, Peter David written Death of Jean DeWolf.
And also with the Netflix series getting ready to launch, it was a nice way to inject the Daredevil into an otherwise, Spider-Man-centric line.
Yeah, I read an article recently where they talked about how the Avengers is $1 billion licensing property, $1 billion a year. And Spider-Man himself is $1 billion a year. But for the Netflix series, they're not going to merchandise it as heavily. We're not going to get some Eggo waffles for Jessica Drew.
Gee, I wonder why.
No D'Onofrio, like Funyuns or anything?
But they said they will do higher-end, adult-oriented, collectible type stuff for that line. I think this figure is their way of kind of making a nod to that, just like you said, but it fits in a Spider-Man wave. And, you know, for as long as I've been collecting Legends and doing this show, we haven't gotten a Daredevil yet, I don't believe.
I think he is probably the character we get the least amount of stuff for.
Yeah, he's overlooked. I mean, Hasbro has taken a few shots at Daredevil since they've had the license. We got one in this outfit and then one in his yellow outfit too from that same sculpt. And I think that was in was it the Nemesis wave that came out years ago before we started the show?
That was long before we started the show. I haven't backfilled those.
Yeah. And I will say this is, you know, even though it's the same outfit as that figure, this is an improvement, or at least bringing Daredevil into the new body type that we've come to enjoy from Marvel Legends. So I can't be too upset about having yet another Daredevil, especially when they improve on it like this. I wish I had that one handy, though. I'm now wondering if it's the same head at least, because it's completely on the new Legends medium body, which is nice. But that head seems very familiar.
This is not the same head from what I can tell looking at just some pictures online. The other one had really thick sculpted eyebrows and like molded where the mask comes over the cheek.
Oh, yeah. So nice.
So this is a totally new Daredevil versus the one you got before.
Excellent.
And it's a more muscular Daredevil. I mean, you say it's the medium buck. I never think of Daredevil as big, but here, this is making me rethink Daredevil as being a really muscular guy. I mean, when you think about Ben Affleck in that movie, I actually think body type, he was well cast, and he wasn't like Hemsworth in the first Thor movie big, whereas this is getting up there.
Yeah, I've always thought he was more, not spindly, but just kind of fit, but not built.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. And I'm not a Daredevil fan. I don't know if the movie ruined it for me. Interested in the Netflix series. Maybe it's going to make it better.
I'll admit part of the reason I'm catching up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is otherwise this Marvel TV backlog is just going to kill me.
Yeah, it will eventually get to you and drive you mad, but...
Well, what's nice here is it just goes to show how versatile paint and different head sculpts and accessories can make this buck, because this buck is the exact same thing as Machine Man that we reviewed not too long ago. Now, to think that those are the exact same figure is kind of crazy because they're so different looking and different feeling. But hey, kudos to you, Hasbro. You made Daredevil out of the same buck, which, I mean, it's a standard buck, but it, like you said, it feels like Daredevil. It feels like the right size of body for that character.
And I really like the paint colors used. I like how the 2D logo on his chest, it's a little orangey, but it really shows up. And I'm counting 4 colors of red on him, maybe 5. I can't get the boot up next to the hand. I think the boots are different too. But you've got the outfit, the eyes, which I believe match the D's on his chest. You've got the hands, you've got then the boots and it all goes together, but it makes it less bland than just the same tone would be.
But the color they used is so Dayglow, it's like straight out of the 80s.
Which one?
His boots and his hands and the D's and his eyes.
I kind of dig it. I mean, it's not neon by any means. It's a brighter red for sure.
Yeah, some of it is tinging on orange. That's my only issue.
Yeah. And, you know, that's an issue where, you know, you've got the calves down that make the boot. That's cast in that color. But then up on his arm where it's supposed to be his glove, that's painted over the maroon color. Same with the D's on the chest. But then you get back to the hands and that's sculpted into color. So considering you got paint over other paint, trying to match up a plastic, it's not horrible. I'm not seeing it as a bunch of different shades.
My only issue with him is with his accessory, the Billy Club. It's kind of silly that it comes in 2 pieces and doesn't have a wire to connect it. It just becomes 2 rubbery sticks.
Yeah, it feels like a lollipop stick.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
It is. see. It looks like you're eating a lollipop. And I touched it thinking, oh, this is going to be like a hard plastic. I'll be able to pull it out. I can bang on it. Nope. It was totally flaccid.
Yeah, this is a pretty lame accessory. It's way too rubbery to even look like it could do any harm. Like just holding it, you can tell that it's wavy, and definitely if you put it together to make one big gaffy stick, it looks ridiculous.
It does.
Now that Marjorie has said lollipop stick, it's all I can see. I was complaining earlier that Maria Hill's guns don't come out of her holster. I'm complaining that Daredevil's billy clubs do.
Well, considering they barely fit in there, like he has this huge holster and I feel like I'm not getting it all the way in there. Well, I'm getting it maybe close to being all the way in.
Oh, I see what you mean. One goes all the way in for me. The one with the tab doesn't go all the way in.
Yeah.
Unless I put it in backwards and then I got the tab sticking out and that looks silly. I'd rather just have it not all the way in.
Yeah. And his little nunchuck holster, it's just slipped on there. And I feel like moving it too much is going to make it so it doesn't want to stay up there. Mine's already wanting to fall down already.
Yeah. I'd put this one, there have been the figures that astounded me. There's been a figure or two that disappointed me. This one's right in the middle. It's okay.
And strangely enough, it seems like he's the most popular one of this wave so far. He's the one that seems to go first and the one I see most people online asking for help finding.
Well, Daredevil, I mean, he's not an A-lister, but man, he has his legion of devoted fans who will come out anytime there's a Daredevil item, except for that Target 2-pack of 3 3/4-inch figures that just sat there for years. And once we get all of these together, we get to build a figure that when I saw the pictures online, I was like, all right. And then I got him and wow, what an awesome Hobgoblin.
Oh, wow. He's scary. He's really cool. That's really good flame too.
Yeah. The sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is worth it for this head sculpt alone. So each of these figures came with pieces and...
Yeah, Spider-Man came with one leg. Anti-Venom came with another leg. Spider-Man 2099 came with the arm and sword. Spider-Girl brought the head and wings, which is why I figured she came with no accessories. She had those giant wings in the pack that dwarfed her. Spider-Woman got the torso. And then Daredevil had, I believe, the other arm and the pumpkin bomb or ball of flame.
Which makes this a nice, complete set. You were talking earlier about how, they did swap outs in the past from wave 1 to wave 2 and stuff like that. But here we have a set of figures that each come with a necessary Build-A-Figure piece that you don't end up with extra parts for just by buying the whole wave. That happens sometimes where you buy the whole wave and all of a sudden you have 2 heads for the same character for no good reason. So it feels nice and complete to have all the figures build one figure.
Yeah, I agree. I like just going back to the way Toy Biz used to do it.
Well, they used to do swaps and variants too. So.
They did variants. They didn't do so many swaps, but they did a lot of variants.
But also what we get is a completely unique Build-A-Figure. This isn't building on anything based in other sculpts that Marvel Universe or Marvel Legends has out there. I mean, the torso is all new. The skirt with the chainmail and pouches is all new. Everything head to toe on this guy is brand new to make an awesome Hobgoblin.
And he really is awesome. The thing that impresses me most is, first of all, the physical presence. It's a big figure being 6 inches, and then you got those giant wings. They're about 6 inches in the wingspan. It just feels like a big Build-A-Figure. It's not Hulkbuster big, but it's nice and large.
Well, he's going to take up a lot of real estate on your shelf because of his wingspan and of his beautiful, beautiful flame sword.
Yeah, he's a back rower because of that, right?
Yeah, I agree. But he is impressive. Again, I don't know this character very well, but this is a really scary-ass looking character.
Yeah, this is the Ned Leeds Hobgoblin, and it really is just working for me with the ears coming out of the hood. I mean, the earlier Hobgoblin was just, they'd gone through so many green goblins, they decided to turn him orange and call him Hobgoblin, but they've finally differentiated him enough. And this is with this, I love the chainmail on the...
Like a tunic.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't come up with a name for it. And all the sculpting and the buckles on the boots.
I want these boots.
They're pretty badass.
Boots kick ass. They are so awesome. I've got some Doc Martens that are kind of similar, but they don't have these nice round buckles like this.
But they went all out, like his his knees are a separate color from his boots, and his shoes or boot bottoms, I guess, are the same color as his knees. And they've got, like you said, silver buckles all over the place. There's some silver that goes up his side there, which is a neat little touch. And the detail in his face is awesome. Like, I don't know how they even got paint in that mouth.
Oh, wow. And it's not an articulated jaw, is it?
No.
Oh, the bottom jaw piece. It looks like it's glued on.
Oh, yeah. I had a little bit of trouble getting the head on the first time, and I'm not going to take it off again because it was a little difficult to maneuver that thing on there.
Mm-hmm.
But once you do, because that head kind of moves around in the hood, but it's also limited at the same time because his ears are sticking out.
Yeah, with the hood on, I noticed there's a definite lack of movement in there, but it's not so bad. I can't picture this character needing to look that left or right anyway. If he came on like a goblin glider, you might want him to be looking around here. I've not even tried to turn the head to get a cool pose. He just, he holds the pumpkin bomb or he's got the big ass sword, and that was plenty.
Yeah. And now considering this is a 100% new sculpt, there's a few things on here that stood out to me as almost odd. If you look at his arms, where it's articulated, it's usually, pick any of these other legends that we just reviewed and notice that it's usually articulated just below the shoulder into the bicep. Well, this articulation is right in the middle of his bicep where his glove ends. That's a weird little thing that I haven't seen on a Legends figure before.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that unusual to me to have mid-bicep articulation. I'm thinking we have seen that before, but I always think it's on a bigger buck for some reason.
I think we might have seen it on smaller figures, but it doesn't ruin the figure and it doesn't bother me. It's just something that stuck out to me as different from what they normally do.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that kind of bothers me when I look too close at it is if you look at both of his feet, they're perfectly symmetrical. You can't tell which one's a left foot and which one's a right foot.
Yeah, it's okay though. Maybe his boots are just kind of, non-foot specific.
He dresses in a hurry.
They're uniboots.
They don't discriminate against left or right.
But other than that, those are the only two things that really stood out to me. He's awesomely articulated like we've come to expect and well painted. And it comes with an awesome accessory. Like you said, the awesome flame blade and also a translucent pumpkin bomb too. Or maybe it's just a ball of fire.
I think it's a flaming pumpkin bomb.
All right.
That I'm worried about losing, but it's cool. And he can hold it so well in the hand. He can hold the sword in one hand, the bomb in the other. It just creates a great effect. I'd love to see him backlit in a dark room.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a way you can make the light shine through the sword, that would be the best.
Mm-hmm. No, a very cool figure. Not quite as impressive as the Allfather, just in that there's one of him. You're not getting a couple different options here. You can't get a couple different hobgoblins out of him. But they went so specific with the outfit that I'm, again, just absolutely loving him. And I don't know that he's as worthy. If it weren't for the wings, he wouldn't feel like a good Build-A-Figure. But at least you're getting 7 figures for the price of 6.
You're right. I don't know the figure or the character well enough to know if this version of Hobgoblin still has a glider or not, but that might have been a cool accessory to make it feel a little bit more worthwhile of being a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're right on that. If without the wings, this wouldn't feel worthy of being a Build-A-Figure.
But I got to give Hasbro kudos. 2 waves in, we have gotten, plus this 3-pack, just a ton of figures this year. And by and large, the best have been astounding and the worst have been still pretty good figures. The Build-A-Figures have been great. And I've got another wave sitting in the front hall that I haven't even opened yet that we're going to have to talk about on the next show. That's the Avengers movie wave with some other characters from Avengers in there too.
And it's only April, folks. And these didn't start hitting stores until maybe February. So it's been a busy couple months for Legends. And just now looking at my desk cluttered with all the Legends that we've reviewed over the last few weeks, you're right, it's going to be a crazy year in Legends.
Thanks for watching this video. You can see full episodes of Marvelicious Toys with more collecting news and reviews at marvelicioustoys.com. We also have thousands of toy and collectible photos in our photo gallery. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, make mine Marvelicious.